The following program is sponsored by CBN.
Well, welcome to 700 Club Israel. Thanks so much for joining with us. Well, the world addresses symptoms and prayer addresses the source. In a time of rising anti-Semitism, one ministry leader is bringing Christians together to confront it. Dr. Mike Evans is organizing a 24-hour prayer event broadcast live from the Western Wall in Jerusalem. It features every nation united with one voice.
October 7 is a day the world will never forget. A day marked by terror, grief, and the ongoing pain carried by the people of Israel, the families of the hostages, and the Jewish communities around the world. But this year, on October 7th, the church will answer with prayer. For 24 continuous hours, believers from every continent, denomination, and generation will unite in what may become the largest global prayer gathering for Israel in modern history. Broadcast live from Jerusalem and anchored at the Kotel Western Wall, this historic gathering will bring churches, ministries, and believers together from around the world with one purpose: a prayer for the peace of Jerusalem, for comfort over every family still grieving. We will pray for the hostages and their loved ones. We will pray for strength and protection over Jewish communities facing rising anti-Semitism around the world. And we will pray for the nation of Israel, from church to church, from nation to nation, from generation to generation. One global prayer movement, one united body, one day set apart to seek God on behalf of Israel. Make plans now to join the global live stream on October 7th, 2026. Gather your family, gather your church, gather your community. Whether you join from your church, your home, or with a small group of believers, your voice matters. Stand with believers around the world as we obey the words of Psalm 122:6. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem. Join us. Stand with Israel. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem.
Well, joining with us now is the driving force behind the global prayer event, Dr. Mike Evans. And Dr. Evans, thanks so much for being with us, and thanks so much for calling the church to pray. You call this a defining moment. Why is now such a pivotal point?
Gordon, you've been blowing this trumpet for a long time, and your father before you. You can't kill a demon with a bullet, and demons don't clear customs. Daniel realized this when he was battling in prayer against the prince of Persia. And we realized it in the Apostle Paul saying, you wrestle not against flesh and blood. So there's a battle being fought, not just by Israel, but America also, that cannot be won if it's not fought in the spirit realm against principalities and powers. I just hosted the prime minister at the Blair House, and I told him, I said, you're fighting 5 wars. You're fighting proxy wars, economic wars, ideological, media wars, and spirit wars. So we're going to be battling a spirit war. You say more than anybody else on your show, if you need prayer, call now. Well, guess what? America needs prayer. Israel needs prayer. There's demonic principalities and powers that are battling. And so we're calling believers for the first time to join. Let me tell you why it's so personal. I'm Jewish. My father was a professing Christian. They called him Brother Bob. He went to church every Sunday. He had a Thompson Chain Bible. But every Friday night, he went to the Twilight Cafe and got drunk, and he was a mean drunk. So on Saturday mornings, he would sit my mother in a chair between 2 and 3 in the morning, slap her in the face and call her a Jewish whore. She wore sunglasses because of black eyes. He believed I was not his son. He thought she had an affair with a Jewish man. He never said, I love you. He never called me son. He never affirmed me. He almost killed me at 8. At 11, he strangled me and left me for dead. Every finger on his hand was on my neck in the morning. He squeezed the blood through. He lifted me way above his head. I prayed my first prayer. It was anger. I made a fist at God when I came conscious, dry in my own dried vomit, gagging, screamed at God, why was I born? I was angry that I was alive, Gordon. When I did it, all of a sudden I saw a bright light. I thought it was my father with a spotlight. So I put my hands over my face. But 2 hands started coming towards me. They were nail scars, but they were not in the palms. They were in the wrist. Then I looked and saw the most beautiful eyes I've ever seen in my life. Every color in the rainbow was in the eyes. I could see angels through the eyes, and they were smiling eyes. The first eyes I've ever seen of a man smiling were the eyes of Jesus. And here's what he said to this broken little boy. Son. No one ever called me son till Jesus said it. Then he said, I love you. No one ever said, I love you. Then he said, I have a great plan for your life. He left. I've never seen him again. I've never heard him again. But I prayed one prayer, and it was in anger, but God answered it. We need to pray a prayer. We need to battle principalities and powers for America's sake, for Israel's sake, for the healing of the world's sake. Every nation on earth will be praying in their own languages. By the way, the chief rabbi of the Kotel said something to me that really shocked me. He said, you know how holy this is? I said, no. He said, this is so holy, Mike, that God will hear the prayers of these believers quicker than they'll hear the prayers of the Jewish people. Whoa, that's strong stuff. But he believes this is a very, very holy thing for believers, and it's never happened. Oh, by the way, 2 Chronicles 7:14, by a king by the name of Solomon, has not happened in Israel. It will happen on October 7th. Everyone is coming to humble themselves and pray. I'll stop talking in a second, but a great friend of your father was Corrie ten Boom. Corrie and I were great friends. It was a 100-year prayer meeting from 1844 to 1944. To do what? Pray for the peace of Jerusalem. It ended on the day they were taken to the camps when they were celebrating the 100th anniversary of that prayer meeting. I restored the home. It's a witness. But this is big stuff. This is what drives the 700 Club, all of your ministry, through the power of prayer. So we're going to Jerusalem, and we're going to be using not only all media, all social media, and we're going to connect churches live. We're going to connect believers live. And as you say, there'll be platforms all over the world in their own time zones. globalprayerevent.com.
I've got to ask, it seems to be an absolute miracle that you got permission to do it at the Western Wall. I mean, this is the prayer focus of the entire, for Jews around the world. And October 7th for them is a day of mourning and remembrance for the horrors that happened in the Hamas invasion, the Alaska flood. And how in the world did you get permission on that day in particular, let alone that place, to make this happen?
Well, I'll give you one of the reasons why. On the 4th of July, 30th of June, my birthday, 1980, I went to Prime Minister Menachem Begin, which you knew, your father knew him very well. They were dear friends. And he said to me, why did you come? And I repeated the question. He talked for 10 minutes. And he said again, why did you come? I repeated the question. Then at the end of the 30 minutes, he said, don't repeat the question. Why did you come? I said, I don't know. You don't know why you came? I said, no. Do you know anything? I said, I know that God sent me. He said, what? He sent you? Didn't tell you why? I said, no, he didn't tell me why. He turned to his secretary, Kadeshai. Shake his hand, you finally met an honest man. He believes God sent him. He doesn't know why. Mike, when God tells you why, come back and tell me. On the 4th of July, there was a grieving young man. He was grieving his brother's death, Jonathan Netanyahu, who died. His name was Benjamin. I didn't know him. I read in the newspaper. I went to the home to comfort the family. Benzie and the father let me in. I saw the pain in this 32-year-old young man's eyes, and I knew about pain. And I said, can I pray for you? I put my hand on his shoulder, and this is the prayer I prayed. Jonathan loved David. You love Jonathan. Out of the ashes of your despair will come strength from God, and you will be the prime minister of Israel. I left on the 4th of July, went back to Begin on the 5th of July at 3:30 and said I met the prime minister. You did not. You met me on the 30th of June. It's not you. It's Benjamin Netanyahu. He's going to be prime minister. Give him a job in the government. He did. So Benjamin Netanyahu and I were just at the Blair House together, and I reminded him that through the power of prayer, you were chosen by God. So he understands the power of prayer. And the nation understands it. President Herzog understands it. Listen, this nation was birthed through the power of prayer. So we're going to have a prayer meeting. I want you, Gordon, to be a big part of it, because this is your legacy. This is your father's legacy. You know, when he first invited me, you had one station. You didn't have any satellite. And your father was so generous. Here's what he said. He said, Mike, I want you to share your ministry, and I'm going to ask the people to donate to it. I said, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. So I just minister to the people. I get back to the hotel. Your dad just began. There's a check for $10,000 from your father. That was like $500,000 back then. It was a miracle, but your ministry has been all about prayer. Every day it's all about prayer. We're going to Jerusalem because God said go, and he said pray. And do you remember We Are the World, the song?
Yes.
Well, we have created We Are the World, and we've got all the different nations singing it, except it's not about a secular song. It's about comfort. On the most hopeless day in Israel's history will become one of the hope-filled days. The anti-Semites, the Mamdamis of the world have said, you're alone. All the nations have turned against you. We're going to show the faces of all the nations standing with you. Oh, by the way, when I was with the prime minister, he said, Mike, I'm coming to New York on September 23rd to speak at the United Nations. And the mayor of New York wants to put me in jail, and there'll be people rallying and protesting Israel. I would really appreciate it if believers would come to stand with Israel on that day. So, Gordon, it's all about prayer. And this is a big deal. And by the way, this isn't my dream. This isn't my vision. I'm nothing. I know where I've come from. I would have been in a mental institution. I would have died. There's no chance this broken little kid should have made it, but by the grace of God.
All right. Well, Dr. Mike Evans, thank you for being with us, and thank you for putting this together. The Global Prayer Event will be on October 7th this year. 24 hours of straight prayer streaming live from the Western Wall, from the heart of Jerusalem. For more information and to sign up to participate, go to globalprayerevent.com. And do it now, globalprayerevent.com. Well, still ahead, how you are protecting children at a daycare just a few miles from Gaza. That's up next.
We also had members who fought in the war to fight for the cause of liberty.
Making sure that army is staffed and supplied. He's able to identify British intelligence agents and send that information on to Washington. After they've served in the army, they look forward to a government which gives to bigotry no sanction, to persecution no assistance.
Washington's words are powerful because they express an idea of a world that's different from the one everybody grew up in.
This ideal of religious freedom is going to be part of the government, but is it really meant for everyone?
Is this going to be a place where You can be free to say what you want about God.
Well, lives across Israel were completely changed on October 7th. Families who escaped the worst of the attack still face serious challenges. Daycare and kindergartens were shut down, meaning parents could no longer work. And now, thanks to you, they're able to reopen.
On October 7th, Rishon, Israel, just 36 miles north of Gaza, was bombed when Hamas began attacking neighborhood communities. For days, residences recounted shrapnel falling from exploding rockets.
The daycare was shut down on the 8th of October. That's it. I was like, well, I can't go to work. Me and another 100 and something families that their kids don't have a daycare.
There were quite a few rockets that exploded and shrapnel fell all over. We found a piece of shrapnel near our storage. There was another piece right in the children's play area.
Then Israel's Homefront Command issued a notice that kindergartens could reopen only if they had bomb shelters installed, each costing thousands of dollars. That's when the daycare reached out to CBN Israel, and thanks to you, we provided two, each custom made to have correct thickness, a ceiling filter, AC, electricity, and internet, meeting all the requirements from the Homefront Command.
If I had waited until I had the right protection for the daycare, I don't think I'd be able to reopen. I needed this daycare. This was my comfort. This is what made me get out of bed in the morning and leave the house. I knew that there were many parents and staff that needed me, because after all, it's our home, and the children are used to it. When CBN Israel said that there was something that they could do, I felt for the first time in a long time, I was really able to see the light at the end of the tunnel.
CBN Israel delivered the custom shelters, helping to provide protection for the community, children, and families.
Praise God. Thanks CBN Israel for thinking about the kids here and the families here. The children were happy. They were able to return to their daycare where they are comfortable and things are familiar. This is also protection for the neighbors because there are many houses here that do not have shelters. Kids and parents were so excited and grateful. They were really happy because the shelters made it possible for them to go back to work. I feel so safe now. I'm not afraid. I know that if something happens, my staff is taken care of. It gives me great confidence to know that I can open the daycare in the morning and everyone is protected here, both the kids and my staff.
Well, that outreach is because of you, because you cared enough to give to CBN Israel. If you're not with us in this, I invite you to join with us. It's real simple. Pick up a phone and call this number, 1-800-350-2230, and say, I want to be a part of it. I want to help people in Israel. I want to help them recover from October 7th. I want to provide safety for their children, for their families. And so we encourage you to call us. And you can go to the phone, you can go to cbn.com/supportisrael, or you can text Support Israel to 71777. So for a gift of $25 a month, $50 a month, $100 a month, your choice, you can be part of the tens of thousands of people that are supporting Israel today and saying, yes, we stand with Israel and we're going to do it very tangibly. We're going to help the people who are affected by October 7th. We're going to provide not just shelter, but we're going to provide trauma counseling. We're going to provide very tangible help in their hour of need. So do it now, 1-800-350-2230. Well, up next, at Ruthie's Ranch, traumatized IDF soldiers experience the healing power of horses, along with some help from some American cowboys. We'll take you to the Judean hills to see for yourself. That's right after this.
Israel has endured decades of sorrow, terror, and war, and still she stands. But today she remains surrounded by enemies determined to wipe her off the map. Right now, your support brings help to those in need and shares Israel's true story with a world that needs to hear it. This is your moment to comfort God's people and remind them they are not alone. Take action. Stand with Israel today.
When you hear Brazil, you probably think of this, and this, and this. But Brazil is also home to millions of people living in remote regions. Right now, CBN is launching a new ministry in Brazil to help bring the gospel to hundreds of indigenous villages, and we need your help. We have partnered with over 50 local leaders to provide biblical resources in their native language and create new opportunities for people to encounter Christ. But there are many more people waiting to receive these critical materials and discipleship training for their communities. With your support, we can equip leaders, provide children and family ministry teachings, and share Christ's love with this entire region. Because the gospel isn't just for the people here, it's for everyone. Support evangelism around the world. Call now or go to cbn.com/Great Commission today.
Well, horses are being used in Israel to heal the invisible wounds of war. A rancher in the Judean hills is restoring hope to trauma survivors, along with the help of a Christian friend and some American cowboys. Joshua Swanson brings us the story.
Just east of Jerusalem sits a place dedicated to healing. Many believe this is the area where Jesus talked about the Good Samaritan, a story of compassion for the wounded. Today, those same themes come to life at Ruthie's ranch.
Hi, new guy.
For Ruthie Mann, horses have always been part of her story. As a child, she dreamed of one day having a ranch of her own.
I was like 5 years old and I asked my dad every ranch, stop, I want to do a ride, since every year like this. And yeah, it was my dream.
Ruthie's ranch serves more than 350 children facing trauma. After October 7th, soldiers began arriving as well, including a former student severely wounded when his tank crew came under attack.
One of the kids that were not born, but raised by me since he was 7 years old, he wounded badly in the tank. The whole crew of the tank were killed. And he was out of conscious for a month. And the first thing that he did after he came back home, after nearly 3 months, he came here to the ranch to see the horses. Yeah. And he's still getting treatment every week.
Soldiers can have unseen wounds, and for many, the horses became central to their healing.
When I first get him to the arena with the horses, he was so aggressive. I'm not saying anything, but he sees the horse like running crazy. And he said, whoa, what's going on? Because this is the best mirror for him.
The horses responded to the soldiers' stress.
And now we can take this scene and stop working and say, okay, let's start to get ourselves calmed down.
For security reasons, we're concealing this soldier's identity, who after years of service in an elite intelligence unit began struggling with the trauma of war.
I started having a panic attack and a nightmare. It's very funny, but like when some child are riding on a skateboard, you know? Yeah. It reminds the sound of the missiles.
Wow.
Like the
Really?
Yeah.
And so what would happen to you physically?
You doesn't sleep much, you doesn't eat.
Yeah.
You don't want to get off the bed, but this is behind me.
Working with horses helped him regain something he thought he had lost.
When I come here, I like naturally relax.
After multiple deployments following October 7th, Lieutenant Commander Elia found refuge at the ranch.
Without this place, I don't know what I can do.
Standing among the horses, he sees the ranch offering something desperately needed by him and other soldiers.
This place is medicine for us.
As the need grew, help arrived from an unexpected place: Christian cowboys from America.
October 7th.
Yeah.
The war breaks out.
Yep.
And you decide you need to call the cowboys.
I had some buddies that I'd grown up with. And I said, guys, hey, because Charlie's hardcore. Called them and I said, guys, hey, would you come? And they all dropped everything they were doing, literally hay bales, stayed in the fields, and they just all came.
Charlie, what makes you hardcore?
That's a good question. Look at it.
Perhaps it was because these cowboys made headlines. When others were fleeing the war, they were headed in to help.
We were the only non-Jewish people in that line waiting for security. It goes out on some social media or something, and by the time we landed in Tel Aviv, we had people walking up, shaking our hands, wanting to take pictures with us.
After arriving at Ruthie's ranch, they found more than just a construction project.
We turned into a family, like, instantly almost.
Together, they began building a resilience center for IDF soldiers using stones gathered from the surrounding hills.
So all this stone was found or grabbed from
on the hillside, yeah.
On the hillside. What is it about this place that's so special?
Yeah, I mean, we've helped to build over 100 and something farms, and I think this is probably one of the most spectacular pieces. And I think because it's helping heal.
When someone from another country come to here and say, I appreciate you, it just feel the heart.
For Ruthie's husband, Chaim, the ranch's connection to a famous biblical story isn't a coincidence, but a sign.
Actually, the road that you see over here is route number 1 that connects Jericho to Jerusalem. Okay. Actually, the story of the Good Samaritan happened just here.
For Chaim, it's about helping warriors move from survival mode back to life.
There's something special about this place.
I can tell you that this is not us. Yeah. This is the guy up there. God really did something special in this place.
More than 2,000 years after Jesus told the story of the Good Samaritan, soldiers are finding healing, and strangers from around the world are becoming family. Joshua Swanson, CBN News, the Judean Hills.
I hope this story encourages you that God uses so unusual methods. His ways are not our ways. His thoughts are not our thoughts. Just imagine, okay, well, here's a great idea. Let's send some cowboys from America to Israel and establish a resilience center so that the soldiers who have been fighting in this horrible war know that there's a God who loves them, that there are people that surround them, that they can become part of a family and have resilience in the face of what is obviously horrific situations. We want to do that, and not just for the story you just saw, but we've worked with the Israeli Trauma Coalition to establish ongoing training for psychiatrists, psychologists in country to recognize the symptoms of post-traumatic stress, to be able to deal effectively. We've partnered with Regent University, their School of Psychology and Counseling, in order to provide trauma-related, war trauma-related counseling that we've learned in the field in Ukraine, and now are applying those techniques right in Israel. It's incredible when we all come together, the difference we can all make. On our own, it may seem impossible, but together and with God, all things are possible. Here's a word from Isaiah. I have made you, and I will carry you. I will sustain you, and I will rescue you. For all of us here, God bless you. We'll see you again next week.
As the world watches from the outside,
it's a big diplomatic tug of war here in the Middle East.
Go inside the story with Jerusalem Dateline.
Israeli archaeologists are talking about a discovery that could change the thinking about the Temple Mount.
Join CBN Jerusalem Bureau Chief Chris Mitchell and get the biblical perspective on the events shaping the world.
What starts in Israel then ends up going to other places.
Watch Jerusalem Dateline Tuesday night at 8 on the CBN News Channel.